Alright, I got another one for y'all. And it's ranking the Super Saiyans in Dragon Ball series, right? Ranking of the Super Saiyans. At number 16, I got Goten. Goten's that boy. He looks like his dad, doesn't he? He looks like Kid Goku. Like, even more so than Gohan does. However, as it pertains to his sons, right? Goten mostly got the looks, and Gohan got all the, power and other things. So basically, when Goten goes Super Saiyan, he's more powerful than he was in base form, but he's still not there. Like Trunks is more powerful than he is, because he has more experience with the form as well, because he trains with his daddy and shit all the time, and that's why Trunks is at number 15. Kid Trunks is at number 15. That boy, plays games with Vegeta. You saw at the beginning of the Blue Saga, it showed, Trunks going Super Saiyan, and then Vegeta was like, "How'd that boy do that?" You know, and he seemed to do it effortlessly. You know, but they are not what these other Super Saiyans are. They are children and shit. These are kids. Goten and Trunks. That's why they're at the bottom. Cabba's at number 14. See, Cabba's a kid too, but see, Cabba, he learned directly from Vegeta in a confrontation called the fucking Universe 6 versus Universe 7 tournament. Vegeta powered down and said, "Guess what? I don't like other Saiyans not knowing their true potential. I just can't allow that. I need to see what you can actually do. I want to make you more powerful than what you are right now." And he was able to do that. He forced Cabba to go into Super Saiyan, and then Vegeta went Super Saiyan God Blue and did what he did, knocked him out. But then he went into the next tournament having that power, and he defeated some people. See, he was allowed to go into the tournament, whereas Goten and Trunks weren't. He's a little bit older than Goten and Trunks. More experienced fighter too. He actually is, because they go out of their way to protect other people and other things. Goten and Trunks had their occasion. They had their fucking moment with Majin Buu and stuff, but this guy does it on the regular in his universe. So that's why I got him at number 14. Then I got Bardock at number 13. Bardock. You said what? Yeah, he goes Super Saiyan 2, boy. Yeah. Hold on now. And then this is a thing that I have to talk about in this video. So basically, when Planet Vegeta was destroyed, right? And this is non-canonical or something like that, but I basically make it canon because it makes sense to me. Goku and his dad look similar, right? Except the mark on Bardock's face, because he was a warrior and shit, right? Bardock got, destroyed with Planet Vegeta, right? But when he got destroyed, he got sent back in time. See, he got sent back to, I don't know, some other point in history, where Frieza's ancestor was fucking with another type of people. And Bardock remembered Frieza, and he saw Frieza's ancestor called King Chill, because he's chill, but he's not. He likes to fuck around and conquer planets just like Frieza. But Bardock ended up defeating him, and he had to go Super Saiyan to defeat him. And like I said, he went back in time. So the story of the legendary Super Saiyan was made because of Bardock, not because of Goku, not because of Broly, but because of Bardock. And he went back in time, and he defeated Frieza, and that's how Frieza's family knew about the Super Saiyan. And that's why Frieza destroyed Planet Vegeta in the first place, because he knew about what his ancestor went through. His ancestor was like, "Tell my descendants that this is a Super Saiyan, and that they need to watch out for these people." And Bardock was able to defeat Frieza's, so he's Bardock's basically able to defeat somebody like Frieza. Everybody below Bardock, I don't know. They might not be able to defeat Frieza like in before he like learned Super Saiyan God or shit like that. Um, or not Super Saiyan God, but Gold form. Um, so number 12, I got Future Gohan. Future Gohan, he's powerful. Not really though. I lied. I lied. Um, what I'm saying is he's cool enough to defeat Frieza, like before he knows um, Golden the state. But he, he got defeated by the androids. Now, I'll give him credit. He fought those androids for like years. Like I don't know how long. Like 20 years or some shit like that. Niggas he was fighting the androids for a long ass time before he kicked the bucket. He was fighting them with one arm going Super Saiyan and shit. For some time. But things got the better of him and he fell off. Um, that's why I got him at number 12. But number 11, I got Kalifa. Kalifa is a Super Saiyan from Universe 6. She is the leader of Saiyans there who go out and protect other planets and shit. She was in the Tournament of Power and she showcased her abilities and shit against people. Then also I have at number 10 I have Kale, the other girl. She's more timid and other things, but when she goes Super Saiyan, she also can become the Berserker form, right? Like Broly, because she's like the Broly of their universe, right? I got her at number 10, and those girls are there. Uh, Cauliflower at number 11, and then Kale at number 10. Then at number 9, I got Future Trunks. Future Trunks, he came back in time to defeat Frieza, and he was proficient at using his Super Saiyan form. You know, he had to use it against the androids and shit, right? And he fought the androids for a little bit after Gohan died. In the future timeline. Then he went back in time and defeated Frieza like easily. He made quick work of Frieza. He like waste no time fucking cooking him. Um, then he like trained a little bit with his father and other things, and he obtained Super Saiyan, but like Super Saiyan Beyond and shit. And he was able to gain a muscular form and other shit, right? And he tried to fight against Cell, but he couldn't do it. Wasn't fast enough. Future Trunks, then he was also in Dragon Ball Super, and he, came back in time to let them know, hey, there's a guy named Goku Black fucking around and stuff. I need you guys' help again. I got Future Trunks at number 9, and at number 8, I have Gohan. Like Gohan from the original timeline. See, Gohan was able to learn Super Saiyan at 12 or 13 years old, right? In the hyperbolic time chamber training against his father. And he was able to learn that form, and he was able to optimize the form with his father by keeping it on consistently for like 10 days straight before the cell games began. um However, like for me, you know it's not that form that makes Gohan the guy he is. You guys know which form that Gohan's actually the fucking like guy. And um you know when it came to the Buu saga, though, he went Super Saiyan. It was kind of like not as good as other people. He could defeat Frieza, like base form Frieza, or non Golden State Frieza, and he could even defeat the androids too in that Super Saiyan state. But it wouldn't be easy. Defeating Cell would be kind of difficult in Super Saiyan form. But number 7, I have Gotenks. Gotenks is at number 7. Yeah, I said Gotenks in Super Saiyan form is better than Gohan in Super Saiyan form. He went Super Saiyan against Buu. He was like playing games. He shot him with the Buu coming attack. He was trying to he he created like ghosts of himself, and then he like had those ghosts go after Super Bill. It was funny. This boy plays games in that form. Um, he, I think he is better at using the form than Gohan is. That's why I got him there. Then at number six, I got Kefla. Kefla at number six. She, fought against Goku, and she used Super Saiyan to fight against Goku as well. Yeah, these people were like, when they went into fusion, they like turned some fucking heads. They were like, oh damn, these girls are playing games. Um, they're trying to like run one on, Son Goku. And they were doing all right until MUI come on and stuff, right? Number five is Vegeta, though. I got Vegeta at number five for the Super Saiyan form. When Vegeta tamed the Super Saiyan form, it looked as if he was the most powerful Super Saiyan, based upon Goku not being right against Android 19, right? He lost, right? But that was because he was sick too. Vegeta was like, all right, I can take care of this trash, and then I'll fight against the other androids who are asleep. I ain't afraid of them or anything. But then he got showed up by Android 18. But then he trained in the hyperbolic time chamber and ascended to Super Vegeta. At that point, though, Android 16 told Android 18 that he's not the same. Like, you couldn't beat him down. Um, he's actually more powerful than he was before. And he was defeating, Cell before he, went perfect for him. Um, then, later on, he, used the Super Saiyan to fight against people in Babadi's hideout, and then he uses Super Saiyan as well when he's, fighting against Majin Buu. Super Saiyan 2, really, but, he was Super Saiyan a little bit. But, oh, it's okay. Can't do that. That guy's weak as fuck. We just have to keep, talking. Um, but yeah, why are you trying to prove anything? We'll move because this guy's fucking dead. About to quit. Well, because he likes to watch me. Yeah, I don't watch people lose that much. I really don't. I do watch people lose, but I do it the right way because Oh, almost forgot. That was Vegeta at number five, right, y'all? But who do I have at number four? I have Broly at number four. Yeah, I got Broly Super Saiyan at number four. You know, Berserker form to me is like basically a stronger version of the Super Saiyan. Um, for him and Kale. So I was like, yeah, that's Broly right there. Um, I got him at number four. Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. That's Broly. He was known as the legendary Super Saiyan in those movies and shit, right? And then it was named the Berserker form as well later on when it got canonized and stuff, right? But Goku was number three in Super Saiyan. Goku, he uses that all the time. Any enemy that came up after Frieza, he used Super Saiyan. He defeated Kid Buu in Super Saiyan 4. He didn't go into Super Saiyan 2 or any of that shit. He tried to use Super Saiyan 3, but then he was like, all right, when I push this down on them, I'll only need to use Super Saiyan on to give, have enough, power to like, send that shit back. Because, Kid Buu was trying to send it back on him and kill him. But, Goku was able to save everybody in that state. And he also, tried to fight against, Cell in that form. He can maintain that form probably the longest out of anybody, if you ask me. Goku could probably wear Super Saiyan in the regular, like, just it's easy for him to do it. It's just like it's no different than being like black haired Goku. He could just walk around in Super Saiyan all the time if he felt like it. But there's only two that are better than him. That would be, Vegito at number two. Vegito emerged when Super Buu was playing games too much, absorbing people, and he was like, okay, this is done. It's time for me to not play too many games. But he was still playing games and shit. um, Final Kamehameha and that sword technique that he uses, piercing Buu and then cutting him. Yeah, he is pretty decent at using Super Saiyan. And that's the only time he used it, though. As that was the only time they used that, and then he used Super Saiyan, right? Against Super Buu. And then I have Gogeta at number one. Gogeta had to fight against, and this was in a movie and shit, right? This was Fusion Reborn, and I love this movie and shit, right? This is one of my favorites, Dragon Ball Z movies. Um, and he said, okay, well, I have to fight against this guy named Janemba. Goku was like, I have to fuse with Vegeta, but we'll use a Metamorian fusion and do that. But when they did that, like, it didn't take that long for them to, like, because, like, Vegito fucks around and stuff, right? That fight was a bit longer than what it could have been. And Gogeta wasn't playing games. He used Stardust, Breaker, and it was over. He threw that shit into Janemba. It was like the powers of like the universe and other shit, like kind of like a spirit bomb, but with like extra like power behind it. And it was a smaller thing. He just grabbed it and threw it, and it destroyed him. From the inside. And Janamba wasn't weak at all. Actually, he could like appear and reappear. He could like deconstruct himself and reconstruct himself. And he like also had a sword. He was using sword slashes. In damaging Goku in Super Saiyan 3. He was like, yeah. Gogeta pulled up on, Super Gogeta. Like when they fused, they were automatically in Super Saiyan form. In that movie, they were, and and that was the most powerful Super Saiyan right there. But stay cool, Cole on the corner. That was me ranking all the Super Saiyans, like Saiyans in Super Saiyan form.